So we get muted. Welcome to our meeting. Are we done? Buenos and Hafidi, welcome everybody to our first Hagat Municipal Planning for our year. And we're very excited to call this meeting to order. But before we call this meeting to order, I would like to say, in accordance to the open government law, this meeting was posted on the Guam Post on Wednesday, February 12, 2025, and on February 17th, on a Monday, on the Guam Daily Post. And in compliance with the American Disability Individuals Requiring Special Accommodations, it will be live streamed on our YouTube channel. And for anybody that has any questions or concerns, they can feel free to view online. We'll call this meeting to order. It is now 6:01 p.m. and we'll go ahead and take roll call. Of course, I'm here present. We're also joined by our council member Ralph Banis. We have our council member John Camacho, council member Frankie Casil, council member Mary Jane Cruz, council member Melvin Nader, council member Doreen Rivera, and council member Cecile Salidum. And we do one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Having said that, we do have a quorum, and we will move right on to our presentations today for public comment, our public comment section. This Hagat Municipal Planning Council will hold this public hearing today on and hear the following request here at our Hagat Community Center or Hagat Mayor's Office. The first presentation that we'll hear is a zone change application number 22-01 by Mr. Beneventi from Guam Capital Investment Corporation for a zone change from M2 to M1. This zone to allow for the conversion of the vacant commercial spaces on the second floor of an existing building to be used for a 6 multifamily dwelling unit on a portion of lot 236-REM, parcel number 9, number 11, and number 13 in the municipality of Hagat. The second request we'll hear is a request for conditional use permit application number 2024-12 by Jeremy and Rosalind Route in Route 1 zone to allow for operation of a short-term vacation rental on existing single-family dwelling on lot 194-2-2-3 in Hagat. We'll now turn it over to Mr. Beneventi for his presentation.
Thank you, Mayor, and members of the Hagat Municipal Planning Council. Thank you for the opportunity to make this presentation and speak for this request. This request is made on behalf of Guam Capital Investment Corporation. They are the owners of Hagat Commercial Point. This is the building right across in on the bay. It's lot 236-REM, and a portion of lot 236-REM and all of parcels 9, 11, and 13. And I will get into more detail as we go. This just takes you to the location. The orange line in the middle is Route 2. The red roof on the left is in on the bay. The green buildings on the right are Hagat Commercial Point. There's a warehouse on the lower part here. It's all on the same property, and we'll get into details on that. Again, this is just another map. It's a larger vicinity map. This in bold black is the outline of lot 236-REM. And there's 3 remnants, 9, 11, and 13, and we'll get into a zoom picture later, but the 2 structures that we showed you are right here, building A and B, and the warehouse building is right here. This just takes you to the location. And this is a zoom view, and again, this is in on the bay across the street. This on the orange stripe is Lot 2. This first green building, we're labeling it for our purposes Building A. Building B is the subject building. This is a 2-story building. And on the second floor, there's planned to be, plan to convert the spaces out here to 6 apartment buildings. They're vacant right now. There's not too much activity. So the owners want to rezone a portion of this property to M1 so they can convert the existing spaces on top of Building B to apartment buildings. This is the existing warehouse building there. It's all part and it's all within the same lot of 236-REM. You can see probably this portion more than anything else. The warehouse is on the right, but the property goes way back as far. Over on this, on the back side is the Mosso River. And of course, you have on the bay and the ocean out there. This is let me just shut this for a second. This is Lot 2. This is what we refer to as Building A for our presentation purposes. This is the subject building we're talking about. This is the 2-story building. We want to convert the second floor here to apartments. The signage is out here. This is the sign. We put this sign up as required by the Guam Land Use Commission. Right now it's on the ground. Leaving it on the ground. Every time we put it up, the wind blows it over. So the next time that it'll be, we'll pick it up probably this weekend. Hope there's no typhoon or anything like that. But, this is the zoning map, and I just bring this to show you that, for example, across the street here, this is on the bay. It's a commercial zone. This is the 236-REM, and there's 3 little pieces, 13, 11, and 9. And you can see that the zoning is M2. So we want to convert a portion of it, this area here, and get into a zoom view to M1 and leave the rest M2. This is the view. This is the Building A, Building B. The yellow is where the 2-story building is. The blue is the warehouse building. The rest of the property is vacant. So only this portion will be zoned M1. Right now, the whole lot is zoned M2. M2 stands for heavy industrial. Again, this is another zoom view. Parking will be reserved for the residential occupants back here.
And then, so just sorry about that,
Sure.
just for the benefit for the new council members, or maybe even for the old council members that are here, just so if you can just explain again the difference between M1 and M2 so that everyone's familiar with it and it's not
M2 is heavy industrial. I think for those of you that have been residents of Hagat a long time, this particular lot was site for some heavy industrial activity, right? And I think it was zoned for that purpose. I don't know what it all was, but it's similar to what they have, like the M2s on Guam or like the airport authority, noisy. The GoCo lots in PD, those are heavy industrial, where it's like vibration, smoke, noise, that kind of stuff.
And then the reason why it's staying at M2 on the other side of the property where it still belongs to them is because of the existing heavy equipment that's in there, right?
Yes.
There's a big warehouse, behind mobile. So it's still being utilized as, it's a multi-purpose use for like construction, right? And so that's the reason why we're leaving it to M2 as opposed to changing it to M1.
That's right, Mayor. And they do have, because of the construction on Naval Station, that warehouse is never empty. As soon as one contractor leaves, somebody just grabs it. So they want to keep it M2, but they can't do much with an M2 zone where their shopping center is. They can't put residential in there in a heavy industrial zone. So This is the property map, and I bring this up because when the government took the easement for the Mossel River, it took a big portion of lot 236, but they also left remnants. You see this like C-shaped piece, this little piece, and there's another piece. And those are still part of the property. They never got incorporated into the property, but, so when you see the application, it says to rezone a portion of 236-REM and all of parcel 9, 11, and 13. And that's more detailed here. This is, again, all of 236-REM. M2 will remain. There will be a new M1 zone where the existing shopping center is, including this remnant here, this remnant here, and this remnant here. Again, these are pieces that were left over when the government condemned the lands for the easement for Mossel River. And there's those three little pieces. But all of it is, we're requesting for M1 only on this portion, the rest remains the same. Just a zone change from M2 to M1 on a portion, like I described, and all of those little remnants to allow for 6 multifamily dwelling units on the second floor of the existing Hagat shopping center. That concludes my presentation. If you have any questions.
Do you have anyone from the council or anyone here present have any questions?
Yes, sir.
I understand one comment to the other one, but I understand there's businesses below where the residential are gonna be placed.
Yes.
Is that gonna affect them in any way, from the zoning?
No, the M1 zone, you can have light industrial, which is M1, and residences mixed together. You see that a lot in Harlem, for example. You have apartments and you have warehouses. If you want to live there, of course, you have to accept what's the environment like, right? If you don't want to live there, then don't live there. But some people like this kind of environment. They think, yeah, they're gonna see, but right now it's empty. Right now it's empty and the owners want to do something with it. This is the best way that they come up.
I think that's a good question on both. I think though, you probably have to consider the opposite. Will the businesses be impacted? Because those are longstanding businesses, Aqualicious, the Thai restaurant next door, and even the Malia store. But I guess my question is, can we think of any way that those downstairs businesses would be negatively impacted by residential residents living upstairs? And to me, the only thing I can think of is, and obviously we hope it doesn't happen, but should there be any domestic disputes during business hours and when cops are coming, it does stand the possibility of chasing customers away, or at least creating an image that that area is not the safest anymore, because who knows, we might get, there might be bad tenants up there, or whatever the case may be. That's the only thing I can think of that might negatively impact our neighbors downstairs.
Can I just say something? There's M1 is light industrial, but it also is one of the only 2 zoning where you're allowed to have short-term vacation rentals without having to apply for conditional use. So if this becomes M1, they automatically, if they wanted to, could have those residents without having to hassle anyone else as short-term vacation rentals with tourism. It might be, but it's possible that's also a possibility. Hotel zones and M1s are the only ones that don't need conditional use applications for short-term vacation rental.
If I would just add, the owner, GCIC, Mr. Stefan New, he was here at the public hearing, the land management public hearing. He lives in Agate, right down here near the bridge. Yeah, and he wants to keep his tenants there. So if there's any problems with residential tenants, I'm sure he's gonna square them away, because he doesn't want to lose those commercial tenants on the ground floor, because they're all his tenants. So he's gonna make sure that they get along, or if the second floor apartment complex has difficulties, we're gonna have to find a way to resolve that. Keep it going, keep everybody happy.
You're right, sir, it is a benefit that it's the same owner, because he has a vested interest now in making sure that there's peace between both floors, so, that is a good thing.
The concern last time was the opposite, was how would
The residents being back.
right, because of parking, that means parking would be taken away from the residents. It happened, what do you call it, customers sit there and see an open spot, not realizing those are residential parking. And then that causing the dispute because now somebody has violated my contract rights to these areas. So although we see that, and we did discuss that in our last meeting, so same thing, the opposite.
Right.
How does that impact the residents?
Right,
It's actually marked off on this
Yes.
stuff.
I
On this
was going to point out
So
that
they
these
clarified that
these
is,
spaces in the back are reserved for residents back here. There's 6 spaces here, and there's also spaces here. So this area here could be cordoned off or marked for residences. The rest of the, most people don't park back here. But the rest of the spaces are still available for everybody.
But the business underneath the Thai restaurant, the customers park right there, park in the front of the yellow.
Oh,
And
here,
then down at the bottom.
in front of the restaurant, parking stall.
Park the store.
this is where the tie is, the yellow.
Underneath the
Parking
first
stalls.
floor.
I've never been back there. I've been to this restaurant, that's Chinese.
Yeah, that's different.
Our restaurant is here, right?
Yeah, so it would be this.
But again, as Mr. B stated, right, so this is already, I'm sure that this has already been spoken about with the existing businesses on, considering that he's a landlord for the whole entire area.
just curious, would the owner, is the owner considering opening up those units to grow? Section 8? Do we know?
That, we don't know.
Don't know.
But in my discussion earlier, this thing is always like 2 years. So
Yeah.
it's
It's
submitted like
a
2-3 years ago.
long time in discussion since we've been going back and forth on this. This became before the council last year, and it was already starting to bring light since maybe 2023 almost. So there's been a lot of thought and a lot of process put into it for this from the owner. And so now he's at his final stage already, trying to just make sure everything's in compliance once he does.
There was also the opportunity from many, the military might want to rent. I think a lot of military rent on the bay.
Yes.
So there's an opportunity, maybe he saw that too, maybe he can.
Our rentals here in our municipality is quite, there's not too many rentals that are available because we have a lot of the military, and of course we have a lot of the poor clients that are here. And so it's quite difficult to find a rental.
Yeah, I think that's what they looked at one.
Anyone else have any questions for Mr. Beneventi? Again, the packet is here for anyone listening live or that may have any questions at a later time and date. The application and the presentation has been provided by Mr. Beneventi and the Guam Capital Investment Corporation for review by anyone that may have any questions. If there's no other questions for Mr. Beneventi, we thank you, sir, for your time and your patience as we've been trying to get through this process with you since last year. We thank you again for your time and your patience.
Thank you. No problem. My pleasure.
And the next up, we have the request for summary zone change. Conditional use. We'll go ahead and have her give her presentation.
Good evening, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, committee members for your time. And this is an application for conditional use of short-term vacation rental on lot number 194-2-2-3, residential R1 zone, municipality of Hagat. So it's actually not a rezoning, it's just conditional use. So it's already marked as if you want to put a church there or maybe a little store or a short-term vacation rental, it's possible provided nobody minds. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking to bring this short-term vacation rental that is presently existing into compliance with Guam zoning laws. Presently, it's been operating well. The neighbours have no problem with it. In fact, I approached any neighbours I could that were in and not in vacant houses to request what they thought of it before I started off as a short-term vacation rental, because I think you should respect your neighbours. It's the short-term vacation rental is not expected to exceed the current capacity of water and sewage infrastructure. It's wastewater services with GWA and power connection is with GPA. There are no planned renovations to the property either for this short-term vacation use. Lots of parking. So that's it, just short and sweet. Does anyone have any questions?
So the property that we're talking about for us, it's actually the home, as you head to the marina, it's the last home on the left-hand side, right before the CNH farm. It used to belong to, way back, it used to belong to the Mesa family. And now it's under her ownership. And so as we saw it before, when it was abandoned for a long time and overgrown, it's now transformed into a really beautiful place that she's, really promoting the beautiful sights and views of our municipality.
Yeah, and it's doing well, like the tourists who visit, so I've had like over 100 different people, like different stays there, and the maximum you can have is 5-star, and it's 4.97 stars, which is really quite high for a property that has over 100 different stays. So yeah, people like Hagat. They do, it's nice with the cattle and the cats. It's lovely. They do say they love the cows.
They roam all over.
Yeah, it's really sweet. I know not everybody agrees with that view, but it doesn't bother me or the tourists.
So, forgive me, I'm one of the newer council members. Sounds like you've already been renting it out. So then what is,
To be in compliance.
To be in compliance with the zoning laws.
I understand.
What happened is,
so we're currently out of compliance?
yes,
So that's-
as are over 300 Airbnbs on Guam.
Sure,
99% of them.
Sure.
So I think maybe 2 have gone through, or not, 2 have applied so far, out of all of those to be within
Conditional use.
compliance, yeah. You might become pay more, or they might just, people probably won't bother.
So anybody have any questions? Again, for anybody that's viewing online now or in a later time and date, the application has been submitted to our office for anybody to review or the owner. Do you have any questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
She also has been waiting for quite some time for this process.
Thank you. Very helpful. And I never fail.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Mr. Benedetti. Come on over.
Also for the record, joining us is Council Rose Castro and Council Rosita Barron.
Good evening.
Next on our agenda item, we have a request for road name change. We, on our last council, since I've taken office a few years ago, we've tried as much as possible to really, be careful with how it is that we go about doing these type of things. And of course, at special requests of the families and those that do their process, that is set forth by DPW, then we actually take it into the council, and the first name change that we did was actually Kane. And that went through our council, and now we have, of course, no stranger to anybody, the Mr. Tovis, Mr. Arthur Tovis, and so this was submitted in by Jerry Tovis, and I'll just quickly read this, and this is attached to the signatures that he had of all the residents that live on Duane Street, in which he's requesting the petition to change the road name to Arthur B. Tovis Street. And he says, "How many neighbor, my name is Jerry Tovis. I would like to petition to change Duane Street to Arthur B. Tovis Street. My father, Art Carvalho Tovis, was born on October 6, 1928. He died in June 2018. Art married our mother, Manuela Leila Lujan Anderson, on April 1948. Both Art and Leila raised their 9 children in the village of Hagat Block 8, Lot 61, what is now 174 Duane Street, where me and my wife, Chris, reside since 1995, where we raised our 5 children when Typhoon Pamela damaged our home in 1976. Art and Leila eventually moved into 121 Duane Street next to Mount Carmel Church, where my sister Angie and her husband Rue now reside. Art and Leila have supported the village through sports teams, Mount Carmel School, and most especially Mount Carmel Church for 40 plus years. Art has diligently and humbly carried the Good Friday cross during the Mass procession. I respectfully ask for you to please sign the petition to change Duane Street to Arthur B. Tovis Street. May God continue to bless you and your family. I will, just like the other road name change, I will put this before the council. This actually is part of the council's voting, and only should the council agree, then this process will continue on. And I'll put it, and we'll open the floor, because this will need a motion to pass.
Motion to change Duane Street to Arthur B. Tovis.
We have a motion on the floor by Council Doreen Rivera to change the street as requested from Duane Street to Arthur B. Tovis Street. Is there any discussion on the motion?
I'll second the motion.
We have a second. Any further discussion?
Duane's, how did that street become Duane's?
Uh,
Is there anybody living on that block? Still Duane's?
not that I'm
John, do you
aware.
know? Anybody?
Is this the name on someone?
It looks like they went and did the neighbors,
Yeah.
Maybe there's,
Not that I'm aware of. Coming down from the top, there's the number of family, there's the Fitzmaurice family, there's the Castillo family, the Castros. There's the
Laura
Laura
there.
family,
Babalta,
the Babanta, the Camacho family.
Kevin,
I don't remember any names.
Mayo,
It's not there to honor
who's
anyone.
in Mayo?
Agnes Street. It's not there.
There's no Duane's.
Again, just
There's
for
Tovis
everyone.
there.
Yeah.
There is
Again, for
Duane's.
everybody, this has gone through its process, and Mr. Tovis has gone around to get the approval of the neighboring homes in on Duane Street. And again, is there any other questions on the motion? We already have a second. And we'll move to take a vote. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Nay? We will now acknowledge the name change from Duane Street to Arthur B. Tovis Street. This process, what will happen from here is our office will put it on, of course, on our letterhead as approved by the council, and we submit it back to the family, and of course, we transmit it to DPW for further processing. Financial report. For those that are new onto the council, I'd just like to say that welcome again officially. Everything that's done here in this council, this is not going to be the first time or the only time that you can ever see these reports, and I'll put it out here for anybody to review. On both, on the non-appropriated side and on our government side, these reports are submitted, these 2 reports are submitted quarterly to the office of the governor, office of the legislature, to the speaker's office, to the revenue and tax, to the auditor, And so everything that we've done in this office has totally been transparent. And everything is always posted on the MCOG website. And of course, everything is here for a public view if needed. So you're more than welcome to review any of the documents that are there. If you have any questions, now's the time that you can ask, or of course, you can feel free to ask at a later date and time. We will go ahead and ask though that we accept these official documents as presented to the council. Normally what Carmen does is she could send it to you via email, if you like, on a quarterly, as we send it to the different respective officers as attached.
Just checking the meetings.
Wanna see if you wanna touch it.
So while you're reviewing, just so that everyone's aware, here and of course online, this office is currently running on an operational budget of about $43,000 only. And when I say operational costs, just for the benefit of the new ones, operational cost means the 43,000 will last us the entire fiscal year. That's gas, that's WIP, that's gloves, that's if there's any kind of damage or sponsorships and it's broken down. It's not just one big budget of this 43,000. It's called the BOMs. And so what happens here is that 18,000 of the 43 is actually under the limited gaming fund. The limited gaming fund can only be spent a certain way. And so that removes away from the operational costs. And when I say it removes it, is because the LGF is by law given to the mayor's office, the different municipalities, and can only be used by sports type of events, as well as certain types of community events. And so you take away that 18,000 and now leaves us with a smaller budget. And so when the cry of our people are there, for things of why can't we do this or where are we gonna get this, we really try our best I try my best as the mayor to work with outside partnerships, folks that can donate to our municipality, sponsors, or even, just asking for help. And that's basically what we have to do, as the mayor. I find myself a lot of times at the mercy of the administration, the senators, asking for more of a supplemental than what we have right now because we just don't have it. And so when you see the different things that we place into our municipality, like the playground park, like the new roads that have come in, the infrastructure upgrades that we're getting, this is not a part of our operational costs. This is as a result of me going out there and actively pursuing different grants that are out there that are offered so that we can get things going into our municipality. And so it was really a champion for our administration the last 4 years because now we're seeing all of the new roads. We only have one road now that's left for the entire village proper to have all brand new roads. It's never been done. We were one of the first ones since after the war. This is the first time that we've seen it where the entire road, there's only San Antonio to Pindua. That's the last road to be paved, and we can say that the whole entire village proper has been done. And so
That's a long thing.
the round table area.
And the
And
rest
so-
of LA.
No, they're not gonna do that. That's where I stay. And so it's good that they cannot say that the mayor's just doing it for himself. So that was the very first road that they paved under Mayor Carroll when I was vice mayor. And so that road unfortunately will not be redone. We decided to keep that stretch and give it to another part of the area so that we can fix another area instead of redoing that half strip of alley. So the different, every different type of upgrade that you've seen out there in the municipalities, because again, we have Carmen, we have Buena, and myself that are really actively going out there making sure that whatever type of grant, whatever type of donation that we can get, whatever type of sponsorship we're getting it. It's difficult to run the municipality on this small budget, especially when our gas consumption is almost $20,000. And so, we've tried to cut costs even on our gas, and the reason why it's 20,000 is because we're constantly using it for water blasters, for the vehicles, for the riding motors, and for all the equipments that we have, and so it's expensive, and so when we're done, whatever's left goes directly to whatever supplies we need. It's not a lot of money, and so when we keep telling the legislature we need money, we really truly need money, because at the end of the day, our community doesn't want to hear we can't do it, right? And so we just do our best to try and provide the best services that we can with the little resources that we're given. And so I applaud all the efforts of the staff that we have. I say we continue to keep going and trying to get the different additional funding sources that we have. Okay, so that's the financial report. Anybody have any questions, concerns?
On that road, just before I came over here, the corner, College and Route 2, is about that little spot.
On your
When I
donation,
showed it, yeah.
I already brought that up to the contract.
Yeah.
I brought that back up with Hawaiian Rock.
Good,
Any questions on the financial reports as submitted for the NEF and for the appropriated funds? Can you get a motion to accept the reports as submitted into the following agencies into the funds?
I motion.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Motion was presented by John and then second by Doreen. Any discussion on the motion? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Ayes have it. Any opposed? We'll go ahead and accept the report as an official document for the Municipal Planning Council meeting as presented. Now to the fun stuff. Our community events and our updates. We have our annual Hagat Mango Festival coming up. We've already set the date for the run, May 15th to the 25th, and I put this specifically on there because then I wanted to bring to the council to decide whether we should try a sunset run or we should keep it as a morning run. And the only reason why I say it's sunset runs because then we have the most beautiful sunsets on the island. And so, it's nice, and the idea came up actually because Marshall Sablan will be doing a sunset run soon. And so I wanted to see how that would fit in or how that would, do, but
When is this? This Saturday.
This Saturday. And so it will start from our office. It's gonna be the same run all the way down to the marina and back, but, we'll see how it goes, but it's really up to you guys, and, I wanted to get your suggestions and on your feedback for the run, whether we should keep it in the morning or in the evening. I think it's both great. It's been a success, so far, even in the morning. We've seen, over 100 runners, sometimes 200 runners come down to our run, even in the morning. And so, everyone looks forward to our run. We have our shirt designs are really good. We really don't make a lot of money from the 5K because of our shirts being dry fit. And, we're still really at $10 for the run. And so the shirts cost probably more than without the sponsor. So it's just really up to what your thoughts were. I just wanted to put it out there just for a point of discussion on the run. Otherwise,
If you have it on, what time would that be?
yeah, showtime will probably more than likely be 4:30 and 5 o'clock. It's probably the sunset run, but
It's nice and cool. So before.
so the run is actually, of course, run and in conjunction with the Guam Runners Club. And so we haven't even brought this up to his attention yet. We just wanted to reserve the date. And we reserved the date because then it's the Saturday before the Mango Festival. I think before we tried to have it on the same day as the Mango Festival, now it's just too much work for us to have it on the same day as the Mango Festival. It's too much traffic and then there's just way too many things going on for the Mango Festival to have it on the same time. So we secured the date already and we secured it for the sunrise for the morning time for the 15th, 17th. I just wanted to see what your thoughts may be on the sunset.
I think sunset one is fantastic. Over sunrise.
Color of the mangoes.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
I really think it's good because like I work on Saturdays, so my morning is go to work.
At least she can go.
Then I can go peacefully. Hey, no, no Republicans.
Not kind of cheap.
So again, it's really up to us to decide. We're still at the finalization stages of,
I think it's worth a try, the last two, sunlight run, was good. But maybe try this time to see how this one works.
so what we'll do then, since, is we can reach out to the Guam Runners Club and with Richard and see, the possibilities of moving to sunset as opposed to sunrise. And if he's, if he's able to with his group, then we can, make that move. So we'll just leave it open. I do want to say before, as we move into the next bullet, that in January, we opened up for the Hagat Festival, the Hagat constituents only. And that was a success. We had, quite a few of our own people come out. I think maybe close to 18 vendors, 15 to 18 vendors from Hagat come out to sign up for their booths. But what I really found surprising to me as I was pulling in at 8 o'clock in the morning was we saw our repeat vendors actually out there. And so I called the staff and I said, did you guys get something wrong on any of these postings? Because there's a lot of people waiting out here that's not supposed to be here. And I opened up the door just after that. They said, no, we checked it, there's nothing. And I asked them, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here till tomorrow. They said, no, wait, this is the best and the biggest festival. We're gonna sleep here. And they really slept here. And so I just want to share that with the council that they slept here
Yeah, they were here.
from 8 a.m. in the morning on a Monday
Your spot.
till Tuesday.
Yeah.
So by Tuesday or by the following day when we opened it up for the next, for the general public, we were completely sold out by almost 2 p.m. And the reason why we were sold out by 2 p.m. is because then it was gone. There was no, we have, this year's Mango Festival, I said last year it was gonna be the biggest and the best. Well, I didn't think that we could supersede that anymore. But this year, we actually closed it out with maybe 115 vendors total. 113. So last year, I think was maybe 107. And so this year, what we did was to accommodate for more, actually the pitters who won the kids booth, the kids' rides actually requested to be in front of the fire station, which made it better. So in front of the fire station, that will be, where you'll have the rock climbing, the little, the little cars, and then you have the train rides that are going around. And then it's open into like more of a carnival setting in front of the old post office. And so this is gonna be the biggest festival that we've ever put out. GBB again contacted us and, said, I don't know how you do it, but it's bigger than even, the festivals that they're putting out. And so this is truly something to again see and to, for us to put on as an office. And so with our small staff, I think we're doing something right as we promote our village and our municipality. So, we're excited. And so this year's festival is gonna start on the 23rd through the 25th, and it will be Friday PM from 5 to 10 o'clock PM, 6 to 10 o'clock PM, and then on Saturday and Sunday from 12 to 10 to 10.
Yeah.
We've already put out all the call outs for the entertainment. And then we've now started to look at the different competitions. We're trying to bring back the mango chop competition, and last time it was run by GCC and Jamaican Grill, and so I'm already in contact with them. We've already reached out to Ambrose to be a main sponsor, GVB to be a main sponsor, Bank of Guam to be a main sponsor. We put it out to Coke and Pepsi, just to see what they would give. And then we'll go from there as far as the sodas and the water is concerned. All of the advertisements, we've already secured the advertisements. Everyone asked, how are we so successful? It's because of our media sponsors. Our media sponsors already have locked in from Cherry. We normally reach out to Cherry, to Ideal, to Advantage. And these are all the larger billboards, right, as you go see going up. We also reach out to the theater, so that way we can put on a slide. And then we do the old school traditional 8x16 at the major intersections in Denito, in Barragata, at Devil Station, and I think where did you go? Anderson? And so we still put our call outs and our banners all the way up in those areas. And so we will still do the same things that we've done in past, where, because of our limited staff and that we have, we will end up going out for bid for contractual services. If you've ever noticed, right, during the Mango Festival, you rarely see trash around. That's because we have somebody that's out there collecting trash. We have somebody that's servicing the restrooms. So it's ready to go. We will also have our hospitality carts that will be brought down. We're working with the different mayor's offices as well as different companies for golf carts. Uncle Mel's always been a driver out there, going out to go and pick them up, and so as part of our hospitality.
I'm limited now, I gotta move.
Oh, that's right, you got a booth.
Yes.
So, everything that has worked in the past, we are going to continue, and we're just adding, a lot more things that to the festival that would help. Because of the different budget cuts and shortfalls in the government, GVB was a main sponsor last year, giving us the highest sponsorship of 20,000. We're not too sure what they're going to give this year. But that would really play a huge part on, our entertainment. We normally do the 2 days of fireworks on Friday and on Sunday. Legal fireworks, paid for, not backyard fireworks. So we hope to be able to deliver again the same. And in past, the council has always approved and agreed to the travel. A lot of our products that we have that you've seen, that is because I go over to the Philippines and I get it for a lot cheaper. We now have our Mango Festival tickets. This was done in the Philippines, and I'll just tell you, to get one of these things printed here in Guam costs almost $2. And when you're selling a $5 booklet, you're really not making money. But when you go back to the Philippines and you're spending how much? 9 pesos. 9 pesos. We're spending 18 cents per booklet. And so this is the reason why in past, I've always asked the council to just allow for of course, for the travel to be open for me to go back there and pick up these things. And of course, everything is not coming out of any of our governmental funds or even on our regular NAF. It's all coming out of the Mango expenditures. And so it's really just to pay for the ticket and for the room as I'm there to pick up things for the Mango Festival. So everything from the banners that were here, the 8x16s that we use would cost $500 here in Guam, and over there we're only getting them for $90. So it's a lot cheaper for us to get it over there. All the promotional items that we're getting over there, whatever promotional items we get, it's almost by like 400% less than what we would get here. Whatever money's made from the promotional items or the giveaways goes directly back into the account, and it's of course generated. So there's really not a lot of money that's really coming out or being spent for the small plane fare that, that we're getting. Excuse me. We're in the room at, it's not a luxury stay anywhere where we stay, we get the best deal. But when we come back, with the full set of everything that's needed every single trip for the Mango Festival. And so I will again ask for the council, if you can, allow me to continue to utilize, the money in our NAF under the Mango Festival account to continue to go back and get the items that we need to continue to
So
promote.
how much did we make last year? Any idea?
The total profit from last year, I want to say it was almost 20,000 that was presented to the council. And so that was including, of course, whatever it was that was the travel included. And when I'm talking about travel, I'm not saying I'm going every week, right? It's travel, it's, everything is planned, everything is, done, and then we go.
Mayor, we said total profit or gross profit, okay.
And then I think what you're forgetting to mention is we used to pay for someone to do our overall marketing, and by
Before,
doing this ourselves.
Yeah, so before, our profit used to be even lower than that. We used to pay for even somebody to do the marketing and it was in the amount of maybe, I think, almost $6,000. And so to save money and kill the staff more, I decided to remove that and save money so we can get that money and throw it back in. And then we just utilized our own staff, just the four on the office side, Carmen, Buena, Shanice, and Fran, for us to be the ones to move it. And so what happens is we do the initial email, I meet with all of them, and then I start to negotiate from there. Where before, we used to have to pay for an outside service to come in and help to promote the Mango Festival. We're now doing that in-house. So that's another huge saving that we've done for the Mango Festival. And so every year we improve at the Mango Festival. Every year we find a better process, and every year more. And so we never lose on our Mango Festival, where there's always a gain. And that's the reason every single time we meet with the staff and we start to talk about this, I always tell them we need to brainstorm on how to trim. Give the best festival, but we need to trim and make sure we're watching our costs, because in the end, we never want close to a negative, or we never want to break even though that's, breaking even is okay, but we need to profit something in order for us to meet, right? And so there's a lot of different things that we go and purchase. It's not only for the booklets, the signs, we purchase anything that we're gonna sell and promote. We also we're now purchasing the sports trophies that we had. So last year we had, we do the 5K runs. All of those medallions that you've seen come from there. To have it made here would cost us too much money, right? And so even like the prizes that we did last year, where we did the Mango acrylic, that was the first time we gave that out to the first and second place winners. That was done in the Philippines. And so where some would say it's just I'm just going to go and get out of here and I'm not doing anything productive. That's not the case. As a matter of fact, it's more stressful to do things, because then, we're out there trying to do that and still worried about doing this. And so, again, going back to my question is, I hope that, the council will support by motion, the continued travel in support of the Mango Festival, for me to go back to pick up, and of course to continue to purchase things from the Philippines in support of the Mango Festival.
You can carry bags.
Bring my luggage. I'm allowed 70 pounds.
Not over. Not over 70. Motion to approve.
Motion by Doreen,
I second.
second by Sil. Any discussion on the motion for the travel being paid? And it's only I pay for my own food, by the way. It's only just for the hotel and just for the airfare. And
Is this one trip, Mayor?
no,
Multiple.
it's multiple trips.
How many on
It's-
average do you take to?
So it really depends. It really depends on what it is that we're getting. And so a lot of times, depending on when things are done, and of course, how many things are ordered, when we're only bringing in things by like 70 pounds by 3, because I'm an odd three, sometimes it takes multiple times to go back there. And so depending on size, depending on weight, it could vary. It really could vary. And so sometimes there's a staff that would go, but very rare I take a staff to go unless, we really need to go down, we're really looking for different products. So every single product that you've seen, and, I'll show it to you later, or you've probably seen it before, from the mugs to the glasses, to the tumblers, to the lanyards, to the magnets, to the pillows, to, I don't know how many things we brought in. There's just so many different things. The tarpaulins itself is one trip because in its weight. If you go back and if you look at it, when you do weight and cargo versus what we do, it still costs more to send it in, and then we still have to wait for it in hopes that we get it on time. So no more than, I don't think I've ever taken more than 5 trips to get everything together, because then we try and put it together with other trips that we may have already. Or sometimes when we go for sister city representations and stuff, we try and put it together. So that way we're not just saying, okay, we're just gonna go just to go. We make sure that the trips are always worth it, and we always come back, with full baggage for the office.
These sister villages out there,
It's
Are-
here in the bottom.
are they helping like with finding vendors to get your things?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so
And
you're,
I'll tell you, our sister municipality in Gilmers and in Iloilo, because they're the mango capital, actually, some of the things that we get are from down there. And so when you see, like, can you have that back? When you see anything that has a mango product, most of the time, I'm getting it from down there. There are certain things that you would get in certain different areas that you can get at the mango de governance, unless they finished it. So on one of my last trips, I brought this in, and so if you look, I'll share with you later. They look like this, right? So they're actual mango candy in here, fresh mangoes that are actually in here. This was actually purchased in Gilmers and in Iloilo on this last trip that I took. But they're super tasty, and I'm sure that anyone that came to the mango festival, they tried it, they're gonna buy it by bag. So they're already looking for the main vendor for this. And this was only purchased for, I think, what, 150? Like $3. If we bought this here, we were asking to sell it for like 15 or whatever. But you can try it yourself too.
I'm not gonna say no.
To see. But yes, and going back to your question, also, because we work closely with them, we'll get into it a little bit lower under the sister relations. Because I know that they're already coming, some of them have already reached out, because it's coming in from a different area, like in Iloilo. They've already agreed to whatever it is that we have there, so I don't have to make my way down. They'll bring it in with them. So this is part of, the assistance that we get from them.
yeah, I think the trips are a necessary expenditure, you gotta spend money to make money. But as long as we're maximizing the productivity, then.
Oh, absolutely. There's never a time that we come back with nothing to show for. Or just go back there and say, oh, we'll get it next time, and then, get it next time. Every single time I go out there, we drop that.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I'll share with you that in this last trip, these were prepared, this came in 2 boxes, and they're already at full weight capacity that I brought in. But the 7,000 tickets that we brought in already, because we have groups that are pushing it out, like Anti-Energy and the Christian Mothers and the different organizations that we have, the sports group, Sign Array, Santa Rita Mayor's Office, and the Senior Citizen Centers, and some other groups that we have. We've already given out almost 3,500 booklets. 4,200 as of today. And so we're gonna need to get more. And the reason why we didn't get more is because I said, let's see how much we're able to push out first. So that way we don't have an overage rate of booklets. And we already maxed out on this trip coming back for these booklets. And so when you look at these booklets, and let's say, for example, what we're doing, right, for all the folks that are selling it, they get half of the percentage. We get half, they get half. So in a $5 booklet, if we took 7,000 and we did it by $2.50, the total amount of money profit made out of this, or total amount of money that will be submitted is 17,500. And that's what we sell out. And so even at the booklets that we're making now, this is not even at a full amount. We're still selling that at $5 out of our office and during the Mango Festival. And during the Mango Festival, I'll do the Mango Bits, right? So I never announce it. I just tell the DJ, for the next hour, we're doing Mango Blitz, and then everybody just goes crazy, and then I do the half and half rate. So we cut it down to 250. The reason why we do it like that is sometimes we promote it, right? And so it's better to sell it out and get more to come in than to have it sitting. But the more we make, even if it's 250, that's 250 more than what we had, right? And so I wanted to point that out because if we're able to sell the 17,000 worth of just the 7,000, imagine the profit that we're making on that. So our total payout for the book or for the raffle is 6,500. So you take the 6,500 from that, and it's like what, 11,000 is our profit already. Even at the 250 level, 250 amount. So raffle's the way to go for us. It's been working, and you know, so
Sounds like
when
half the profit just comes from the book.
well, so again, getting things like this done off-sided is so much more, so much more at a higher profit rate than what we would get.
Makes sense.
So, we'll take a vote, all in favor? Aye. Thank you, folks. And again, everything that is expended, from the Mango Festival, we only have 30 days by law to submit to the council. The council will see it before we submit it. We submit it to the same people that is here, to the Director of Revenue and Tax, to the Speaker of the 30 Legislature, the Governor's Office, Office of the Public Auditor, and Public Accountability Office. So again, everything that we spend on is already turned in for, to all of these offices, so. We make more by doing that. Any questions on the Mango Festival? This year, because, she's always been unpaid, always, willing to help me on the side and making sure that I do things right. My wife, she keeps telling me about the sports groups, and so we're hoping last year we were able to coordinate with the Legacy group for volleyball. We hope to continue the volleyball tournament. I was pushing for basketball, and now she's saying, why don't we try something different, right? I was hoping to push this to the Fiesta, carnival that we're gonna eventually do on the side, because that's more for the church. But I'm hoping to do, we're talking about maybe doing something for baseball, using, down here in the field, right? So that brings out more of the families, and, maybe we can get, some of our groups of families to come on and support that too as well. So we'll see. We still have some time. We're already in plans to see how we can work it out. Last year, we had the Legacy group run it, and so to help them out, they chaired everything from the refs to the getting everybody in to all the teams and everything that had to do with it. And all we did was, we basically paid them for services, and we made just a very small portion, which was not even a lot. And so, in a sense, we were the ones that paid for the refs and, paid for their for their coordination. And we did everything. So that's part of the 16th annual. I wanted to bring a mango month, right? And so you would see this when you go down to Gimmer's, right, to our sister municipality. It's the whole entire May is mango month. And the reason why they call it mango month is because they have like different things every week leading into the Mango Festival or the Mangahan Festival. And so when you saw that in Gimmer's, I wanted to kind of bring that back to our municipality. So that's how I started to see that.
Next Monday, that would be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, right?
Next Monday.
That's fine.
So we would start it in the first week of May. Every week we'll have a different type of sport, whether it's the 3-on-3 basketball or the volleyball. And then being into the 5K, 2K, 5K, and then the Mango Festival. With the exception of the 5K run, all the other awards will actually be given out on the during the Mango Festival, which brings back in people in the crowd, right? So that's the whole concept. You know, when we bring in people, we have vendors that are happy. It's good for us. Okay, so that's the Mango Festival. Stay tuned. And you know, if anything, like we will be putting out different things onto our chat. So maybe anything that's upcoming or anything that we may need assistance with, if you'd like to volunteer your time, you know, everything will be posted on the chat.
I have one idea. What are your thoughts on the spirit of fundraising for the various organizations in the village, both religious and sports? What are your thoughts on allowing the golf cart transportation to be run by an organization, say Mount Carmel, and the driver then a little tip jar for people who already have cash in their pockets, and you say, hey, we're fundraising to fix the roof of Mount Carmel Church right here in the beautiful village of Hagat. It's not required. If you'd like to provide a tip that goes towards that fundraiser, we appreciate it. And it could be something that could be opened up to, you know, and say, think about it, the various organizations can reserve even, 3 hours of a day, or they can reserve a whole day and they take that one day. Of course, the mayor's office would provide the vehicles themselves, maybe the gas, maybe the organization pays for the gas, but something along those lines to be a fundraiser that the Mango Festival could help with.
I'm not opposed to it. And the only reason I'm not opposed to it is because there are a lot of people that, that are very giving, very generous during, but at the same time, it's a hospitality, right? But I understand using it as, you can give it or you don't have to give it. My only concern that I would have there is who would drive it, right? Because then the responsibility now becomes on the mayor's office. If anybody gets hurt, anybody gets
Sure.
hit, then, then we get it. And that's the only reason why the people that we put up in there are actually anyone at the MPC that would like to volunteer or the staff. We try not to even get volunteers on there. And if I do, I yank them off of it. Only because then when somebody is like horseplaying on there or somebody's driving too fast or, there's a liability concern that we may have. Maybe it's something that we can look at. Maybe it's a waiver, whoever the group's gonna be that, if something should happen while they're operating, if it's gonna be from certain hour to certain hour, if they're willing to accept that, then maybe that's something that we can look to. I'm not closed off to the idea, I'm all for the church too. And Joanne will probably bring it into my ear later that was a great idea because she's trying to move whatever I can from, to over towards the church side. And we'll get into that a little bit later, even after the meeting, because then it's not on the agenda item, but I would like to present it to you guys as a group outside of the MPC on how it is. My ideas are that I've spoken to with Father about the church, but we'll get into that right after. Moving on to the 81st Liberation events and the Hassel Haggett and the Hassel Bennett Memorial. Every year we've always hosted the at the Haggett Veterans Memorial Park on the 19th. We've always hosted the memorials. The government again does not provide any type of funding for this. This comes out of our NEF, and so we provide our hospitality like we normally do. We try and provide just whatever little refreshments that we can, because then we have, it starts off in the morning. We start off going to the Fenna Cave site for the Bindishon, the blessing, and then the short tour of the cave, up to the cave at least. And then we end it down down at the Veterans Park, for the actual, service, that we have. And so I just wanted to bring that up as that's the date. It's always been on the 19th that's the actual date of the bombing at Hannah. So we're gonna keep it on the 19th, and as it comes up, we will let everyone know. We will have a float, entry. We always had a float entry into the parade. Again, the government does not put out any money for the float, and so we will try our best to put out, everyone we were already discussing at the mayor's council, because the mayor's council is in charge of the Liberation Day festivities. And so we've discussed it, that if you can only afford to put in, the trailers that can be pulled by your trucks, then that's an entry for the municipality. Or if you can afford to go as far as the 40-footer, we're more than welcome to do so. And so depending on, what we can put together, I know in past years we've had Noel to help us, but it's been quite difficult to get that type of help. So if we can put together a 40-foot, I would like to put together 40-foot. And if we can't, then we will go where, our money is well spent. And so we would just put on for representation for our municipality and for our village. And so I'm very thankful that, we always have our Ackland drummers that are always there to welcome in on the Liberation Day, parade with us. And we'll probably request for Simon Ray and his group, because they're always representing, to at least work our village on Golf Island. And so, it's nice to see them on, with us. The reason why I'm saying this, and right after this we'll get into it, is because we have a lot of our sister municipalities that have already requested representation, for Liberation. They want to come in and join us for our facilities and be together with us. So I don't know how I would put them on the little trailer float. On the little wire truck. And so we will go with whatever we can afford without killing, into our NEF. Our NEF is what our non-appropriated funds is, right? It's the little charges that we have from our facilities that we get, or it's anything that comes in based on a donation or from the Mango Festival or different fundraisers that we have for our municipality. And so I try not to just be so, openly, giving with our NEF. We give, of course, the humanitarian, that comes to the council. We give our $200 humanitarian donation to those that, will be going off island as for our small help, whatever we can afford, right? At least we give something to those that are needing for medical purposes. And so we will continue to do that. But we really just try and hold on to our NEF and make sure that number is zero. And so that's part of Liberation. And moving on to our sister city relations, and I keep bringing it up. And the reason why I bring it up is because people always say, well, why is it that, we have these sister city relations, and, what is it that we get out of it, and, you asked the question earlier, how is it, or would they help us, or how do they help us back there? And for the ones that can help us, like in Iloilo, or in Guimaras, they help us source out things. They, whatever we can to help and promote us in their way. And then they come over, it's a long process for them to come over to apply for visas, and they have to pay that all out of their own pockets to come over and visit us and to celebrate with us. But they go that extent. And, for us on our side, the only time we've really helped out is we put together different type of, like when there was the outbreak of COVID, we had what little donations we had, we sent them their way. Or I'll use Tinian as an example. On our last typhoon that we were hit with, Tinian came in and donated a $5,000 donation to our municipality to help us. And so, when it was in their time of need, for Typhoon U2, I organized, we didn't have any money and that, to donate, but what we did on our side was, we sent our donation out in form of, after the fundraiser, we sent it out to the mayor's office to help them. We helped them, that was able to purchase equipment for them to help clear up their island as it was devastated. And on the other side, we actually went and looked, Joanne and I actually went and looked for people that wanted to donate to the church, to the parish, because then they didn't have a church and they were not able to go and find that spiritual, that spiritual healing that they needed. And so we were able to find somebody that was able to donate a canopy and the sound system to them, and they were able to at least start to go back, go back to church services, at least under the canopy of church. So this is what we do, right? We reciprocate that type of relationship, that help. During the festivals, they come out too, and so they're in full support of our municipality as we are with them. And so it's really not just a one-way street. It's not just to go over and spend time with them during the festival or what have you. When they come, they actually come in costume. If we wanted them to perform during the Mega Festival, they will come and perform and showcase their culture and and sit and show the traditions of what it is that they have to offer to in their place. So other than building the relationships, there's a lot of different pluses to the sister municipalities. And so on the last council, they've agreed to on official invites to allow me plus the vice mayor or me plus the staff to go and represent the office. And so that's not often, but it's always been a practice that, when there's an invite, it's that ticket was paid for by the MPC. So I ask that, you allow us to continue to forge the relationships. And of course, there's always an invite for you to come and join. And if there is, then, we try and, do whatever fundraisers to, try and lessen the cost. But like Auntie Sil can say, she was with me with Auntie Feli in this last trip in Iloilo. And it was a great trip. They take care of us all the way through, I wish that we can offer them, police escort while they're here, but we can't. And, but it's just like no other. And I really truly invite you to come and see. I can't really say too much about the experience until you come and see. And so it's always welcome. We were hoping, Mel was going to join us, and they ended up going up to Pampanga.
Probably the wife takes it to her hometown.
So, but
I had to do that.
but really though, I really invite everybody to come. We have our sister municipalities. There's the Island of Tinian. We have Iloilo City. We have Guimaras, the Mango capital, and we have Baguio, in the city of Benguet. We also have our the municipality of Guimbal, and actually that was the very first one that was established under Mayor Carroll. Wife of Senator Jesse Lujan is the vice mayor. She's always here, and as a matter of fact, while I met with the mayor there, she was already saying, how can we go and support you during the liberation? And they were asking if they can come in, and we're not paying for it, they're willing to pay for it, bring in their kids from the school to come and perform to represent our municipality as we go down the procession and liberation. And so we're hopeful that we can, that's a sister city that, she wanted to re-sign. It's, it's there on their wall. Oh, on Paranaki. I forgot about Paranaki. But, these are the type of things that they're willing to do to promote Guam, to support our municipality and be with us. And so it's nice to see. You just need to come and join so you can see, you can experience how it is that, it is to go out there and see the different types of culture and the different types of experiences there. Just
Yeah, the hospitality is really good. You just have to fundraise for a trip.
it's been done in the different MPCs actually, because the MPC is the one that can approve it. It's been done in some of the different MPCs where they've approved to go and represent all as well. So it's really up to the council on how it is that, it should, the representation from the council would be. So if you feel that, you would like to go, it's up to the council on how it is that it's voted on the visits, so. But I will request from the council, like we've done before in the past, that, you know, at least myself and, most of the time it's just me or plus one staff, at least for the airfare. And, while we're there to represent our municipality, if that's possible, to continue. There's not too many of them, there's maybe, it's not every month either that we're going to attend the festival. But like I said, during these times, we also maximize, if it's me and the staff, as we go out to represent, if it's in the month of August or September, we're already bringing things back for October for the kids' Halloween, things that we would give away during the Halloween extravaganza. If it's closer into Thanksgiving, then we're bringing back things that we're giving out during Christmas. If it's closer into March when we're leaving, we're bringing back things for the Easter extravaganza. And so we never go back there just not thinking of the office or maximizing the trip fully for the office. So I will simply ask and request that the council consider at least for us to continue what we've done in the past and with a motion to allow me to continue to support our municipality on official events for the sister cities. Is a motion by
Motion to continue the support. I'll second her motion.
Any discussion on the motion? We'll now take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I just like to thank the council and again, it's, everything's recorded, everything's live. There's nothing that's ever, put into the shadows of anything down here in the office. And the reason why I bring it up is because, you know, there's some of our constituents that always say, oh, that's a, you know, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of taxpayers' money. It's not a waste, because then when I go, we bring back more than whatever it is I left with. And so it's everything to promote the municipality, everything to promote whatever our events are coming up that we would see out of these things. And for the new ones, you'll see it as they come in, and they start to represent their municipalities and showcase them here. Everyone's always invited every time they come in to our municipality. We always have something here and they always just come in and they're welcome here too as well. Everyone's invited with their families. Going into the updates, I try and keep the meeting to an hour. Unfortunately, I'm past my time, but I'm gonna try and go through everything and update everybody. On our erosion mitigation, the reason why we put this here is because we are still working with administration. I met with the lieutenant governor, the deputy directors for the UPW and the director to continue on with our project Infinity. It's, there was money that was placed aside, for the study and for the, of how it is that they're going to control the erosion. And of course, the flooding concerns that's been happening way before we even took our time here, in office, for flooding control. What we've done already there is we're able to replace 2 culverts in the area. For those that are not familiar with the Finley problem, they put one of those huge culvert or a huge drain out pipe, and then they put 2 smaller ones, and then they put a larger one, and then they put a really small one. And so it was never like a straight flow of a stream. And so it's always flooding out Orem Circle, the Academic family, and then of course going into Leon Street and Babata Road just because of that all that overflow. We've already placed out 2 all the way up onto the Contreras property, and we only have 1 more culvert now to replace, so that way this process flows straight through. I've also requested from the office of the lieutenant governor for them to actually make that a concrete berm in the bottom, so that way there's no settlement on the bottom anymore. And so that's the update. I also, I'm still working with them for the R Cruise River, and so that way we can to somehow control that river a little bit more and remove whatever it is on the Sessa River on the backside of those homes. Unfortunately, when we went to go and visit it with DPW, it's too soft already for us to bring the dirt in. So like Edgar Galante's area And so we would actually have to get with Army Corps to put the boulders up on the side. And so we're working with it, just takes a little bit more time. And so we haven't forgotten about that area.
How about the water coming from Santa Rita going down to Aracruz?
So that's the one on the top side, right? So they already did they sent the engineers up there according to the lieutenant governor. And I told him that was a promise that you made to the our cruise people, and you know, you're gonna need to make sure that we deliver that. Yeah,
The sewer, when you go into Aracruz, that usually gets back up.
Yeah.
It's just for little rain.
It backs.
so that was already all reported to him, and to GWA. The last time they were saying that it was a public concern, right? It was, it reached its capacity and it wasn't able to pump out to the main pump station. But I said, you cannot tell me that when it's the whole entire Route 2 and heading into the village proper in our cruise. It has to be a different, problem. So we're pushing for that too, even with the GWA. But we'll continue to follow up for that. In Nimitz Beach and the shoreline protection, I met with Army Corps of Engineers, with the Port Authority of Guam. And so what we're going to be doing right now is we were awarded, 1 point something million dollars, $1.5 million under the Army Corps. And what they're going to do is they're going to actually dredge the middle of the channel as you're leaving the marina. They will take all that sand and repurpose it back onto Nimitz Beach, and then that would eventually bring back out the property of Nimitz Beach, right? And so that will help curb the erosion and as well as return back some of the lost properties already because of the erosion. And so that's a project that I've been pushing, and we're almost there. I think by next year in May is when they're looking at doing this project, executing this project. Already, they're just waiting for all the permitting to be completed, and then they'll start on the project for Nimitz Beach. And now my favorite topic, which is on everybody's mind, the Hagat Postal Service. The first meeting that I've had was with Tammy, with our postmaster, regarding the property. There's two different options that we're working with right now. The first option, just so that everyone knows, is the one that's out here right now was a two-phase breakdown, right? The first one was to demolish and remove it, and the next one was to rebuild it. The holdup right now is that they are trying to negotiate with the property owner. I thought we're the property owner, but apparently in 1990, late 1990s, it was still under the government, and I think it was under land management or Tomorrow Land Trust. So they're working with it so that way they could one either turn over the property to us, or they could be the ones to release it again for them to extend the lease on the property. The lease was only the one of that you pay $1 for so many years, right? And so that's the holdup right now. So they're trying to get them to be the ones to approve it, because on the letter that was sent to the congressman, it says they're working with property owner. I said, nobody's contacted me. When we've dug further, we found out that the property owner they're dealing with is actually the government of Guam. And so we're trying to work that way. Whichever one comes faster, we will work it. I've offered for them to utilize, I know it, it would have taken away spot for our community use. I've offered the community center many times for them to use it. But because it's not under their federal lease, they cannot do that because of liability concerns. And so we've offered that area. We've offered the old GPA area. We've offered the old ZOMT where they were at one point in time. And the last one that now we've offered them is the fire station. We really didn't want to do that because then there's different things that there's different clauses that are tied to that property. When it was released to our office, we were fighting for that property to be released to our office. It was turned over to our office a few years ago. Because the money that was used to build the fire station was HUD money. In order for us to move anywhere, they would need to be the ones to approve it. When HUD gave the money over, gave the building over to us, it was for specific use of community. And they said, well, it is for community use, right? We need a postal. So I met with former Senator Fernando Esteves from Guam Housing because they're a part of that, and he told me that he's going to look into it to make sure that we will be in compliance. And I had a meeting with Senator Joseph Augustine, who's writing up a bill to allocate the money, if that's the case, and we're able to utilize this property of no more than $1 million to build the new postal center. The clause is that if it has to be used for community, then I asked them, well, what if we just break down the building? And I was told that I can't do that, but I'm trying to find ways, and I'm telling the council that, and it's live, because then I want everyone to know that we are constantly following up on different ways on us to get this done. I know that we have a lot of seniors out there that are in need of this, of the postal that's down here. We have a lot of disabled that are waiting in line. I too wait in line, and I'm hearing all the complaints. And I, as the mayor, don't have a special line, and I always tell them I'm here too, lining up in the same line, right? And so we're pushing for it, and we're trying to find every way possible, whether it's through the Guam legislature to approve money and for them to find us a way to get the postal there, or if it's for the U.S. Postal Service to find another area to lease, or for them to rebuild back up to where they were. So any way that we can get it to go, we brought it out. I did a tour with the postmaster. The parcel boxes are already there. They're all brand new. It's sitting at GMF. It's sitting at the main facility. And so Tammy was just saying, Mary, it's here. These are your boxes. This label is agates boxes. And so we're just waiting for a facility. Unfortunately, Tammy, the postmaster, has her hands tied because she's not part of any negotiation that has to do with the postal. She's just there to run the office. Everything happens in Honolulu and DC. So we continue to do our follow-ups almost every week. I follow up with, the different, every different area that I can, or person that's, that I can to help us to put a postal back down here. I've even asked about, what about, what Santa Rita has, which is, the boxes. And so, her plan, as a postmaster, she said that they're really trying to put a full service post office down here. And that would be able to completely service not only our municipality, but the entire South, right? So when she says full service, it's everything from receiving, shipping, stamps, whatever it is, and that will be whatever you can do in Hagat and Vergara to be done here in Hagat. And so I said that's the world for us, but right now we're only asking for a small item. Just give us something to work with, because everyone is just eager to get something done. So that's the update on the postal service. I gave the update on the roads earlier. I didn't want to be over ambitious and overshoot, so I just stopped there at the village proper. I am going to be requesting after this to have all of our secondary roads paved. We have a few in the village that needs to be paved, like in the Umang area, in the Santa Ana area, and then of course my last ask for a road would be for Route 2. And they paved from in on the bay, and they stopped at in on the bay, and they stopped at Santa Ana. I could not figure that out. But most of the accidents that we do have in the morning or when it's wet is on that road because it's slippery, right? It's an old road. So I will be putting, and fighting for another road. Hopefully we can get that done. The street light repairs, we're trying to get everything on. Once everything's reported, it's logged. We send it up every single week. Fran has a log sheet. She sends it up to GPA, and we try and get them down here to turn everything back on. With the recent graffitis, now I'm even more concerned about this. And so we just met with Robert Uzama, our liaison to the Lieutenant Governor's office and to the other agencies, and they told him, whatever's there in our file, please get it back up, because for some odd reason, now we have, some of the kids that think that it's okay to do these type of things. Ocean View, in front of Ocean View is vandalized, there's Newman's Beach Park,
Our cruise,
our
the sign,
cruise.
the sign that we put up there, the neighborhood watch sign.
So it's a bunch of kids that are going around, and it's unfortunate. I cannot pinpoint it, but I will say that, I informed GBA of the home. And it's only since this one group of kids moved into this home that now we're seeing this type of behavior. We're seeing them, across the street from our house at late at night up at the tower. They're not doing, things that are, parents need to do their part, keep their kids home at certain times. And so we need to put up the lights. I mean, the lights may help, it may deter them from doing things that, they already have the mindset of doing something negative like that, they're gonna go out and do it. So we'll try and get everything back on. The abandoned vehicle removal and the metals, we're just waiting for our PO, but every single year, for some odd reason, in our municipality, since I've taken office, we've moved over 100 cars every single year. I don't think we have 100 cars right now, but I'm not on wood, because then they grow like faster than the bananas and the mangoes. The moment we get our POs, we see all these cars come out. But we're just waiting for our POs to come, and then we'll have those, all the items removed, like we've always done before. Our playground park was delivered. We still have a little bit of the funding left from our childcare grant that we had. And so we're hoping that it's enough to put up one more playground site. I'm hoping to place it. It's too big to put on the park area or even near where we put up the existing one. And so it's very similar to the one that's at Barragata. If you've seen the one at Barragata, where it's very colorful, big and nice. So the only other area that we can think of is over at Nimitz Beach, which is under our care, right? It's not in the middle area. And so when we find the right location, we already, Carmen and I were able to identify some fund for that to be able to pull that through. And so we're hoping that we can get that done in the next few months.
And it would actually be ideal because you have that walking path. And maybe with more people present, there'll be less.
So you have walkers there that comes in the morning. And they just like.
But that's through the day, that's not just at night. Like because I like to go down there to take my sunset shots, and you will see people, I'm like, don't you have a job, But they're there, and they've been settled for the day, they've got their bags, and you want to tell them, hey, if you brought it, take it home. And that should be the mentality. But it's not just at night, and I'm so ashamed that every morning you guys are cleaning, I'm like, they just did this yesterday. And it's embarrassing that the people there, and exactly, it's almost unbelievable that every single day the same amount of abuse.
So going back to that, since we're already on that, we've already put down the parking stalls that are there. That's the first part. We're trying to block it off of parking stalls. I've already told Carmen Wena to go and get cement bags, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna manually stand them up, because then those parking stalls, people will just move them and drive straight in. Right? So we've already placed them, getting them ready, so that way we can stand them up, cement them down to the ground, and they can't move them. And so there's no access onto the beach area, and that would at least lessen the amount of people driving in, or discourage them from even coming to the park to drink. I just worry that it's not gonna happen there, it's gonna happen like right before the park, where then someone will come from. Then we'll have to police that too, but. So for the Nimitz Beach area, park itself, we've already placed that today. I put it on the chat, and today I told them, let's go down and put it there, so that way we show that, we're there. We've already cleaned up the restrooms, we're now getting ready to open up the restrooms for those that need to use it from a certain time, at least to open it up for park use. We hope that that's not vandalized from 8 to 5. But that's just a chance we have to take, right? And so we'll clean it and keep it open as long as they don't damage it. We've done this even with the basketball court park. That restroom's been renovated, it's ready to go, and for some odd reason, every time we left it open for the kids to use, people think that it's They go in there, they kick this thing down, they break it, the water's running, they pull the toilet tank out, and, so this is things that, we have to deal with. And with a small budget, we have to be careful of how it is that we're spending this money. And so we need to really, put it out there that we cannot have that, constantly going on in our community. And so, like I said, with this small group that just moved in on SVA that I'm really watching out for, I'm gonna be alerting GPD on it, because then, since this group moved in not even more than a month and a half ago, we were good. I don't know where they came from, but they came with all their problems, and if that's the case, then I need to find the landlord and tell them to move these people out, because then now we're seeing graffiti that we haven't seen in years. We're seeing more underage drinking. We have not seen that in the park for a while, and now we're seeing a lot of noise. We're hearing a lot of noise at night, just from this group. And so that's that. The Hagat MPC to upgrade. We're working with, this is another grant that we're working with right now, and this is under the green markets. We're looking at working on finalizing the grant already, so that way we can move up or try and mitigate the flooding. If you ever notice when it's raining in there, once it floods and you're having a party in the middle or in the parking lot gets flooded. So we were working already with them this was our project since the last term. It's now starting to close out, and so we're hoping that this project fulfills, and after the Mango Festival, and we can move forward with our renovation with the second season. The last one that's not on here that I do want to share is behind our office. There's only 2 different municipalities that were approved for it. Hagat was one, and Modesto was the other. We were approved for $6.5 million for shoreline protection behind our office. And this will protect our office because during storms, and heavy rain, our staff is here. We sleep here during the typhoons, and we're ready to respond to anything. And so we were able to apply and work with Army Corps of Engineers, and we were awarded $6.5 million for the shoreline protection. And so I told them, as long as they don't put the boulders up, we don't want any type of boulders that will block the view, block the sand, because we utilize the second mesita for different things. There's a certain type of there's a certain way that they're going to do it where it's just a revetment that will be able to to break the waves, shock it, and send it back out instead of coming into our shoreline. And so we'll still have the water that we have behind the center. It's just, it'll protect our office. And so 6.5 million was our total grant award. And so I'm proud to say that it's another one that we've accomplished once it's done. The last one, actually, there's a lot of last ones. So actually, this is something I'm only bringing this up because Brother Ralph has always talked about this project, and so the governor and I met, and we're hoping that we are able to do an aqua farm down here in the village. And if we do an aqua farm, then we're hoping that we can set up some type of boardwalk right before the marina area or in the Nevis Beach area, so that way it's a full concept. And after the meeting, Brother Ralph, he can explain the whole boardwalk concept that we've had, and this will entirely promote our whole entire tourism drive. And so we're hoping that we get this aqua farm going, and I can't really speak too much of it because then they're still working on it through with Gita. And so Governor just said look forward to it, and when it does happen, then of course we'll have to present it to the entire council. Anybody have any questions? I'm tired.
Open discussion?
Yes, open discussion.
So, just a good part. You mentioned earlier that, we have a annual operating budget of 43,000. That's pretty small, but you mentioned a lot of good things that has come to the village. The resources that have come here, the grants that you've been able to obtain. I'm thinking just to put that information out there, I guess, on the newspaper, the newsletter that's always been And both times, how much is coming to Agate, because, you know, a couple $1 million on top of the 43,000 that's, you know, assigned to Agate is a pretty sizable, lift. You know, that's all good things for, that can be, attributed to your leadership and to your ability to talk to people that have resources, you know, with them on board. You need to be able to say he's done a lot of good things for the village of Agate. So we can't lose sight of
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. You know what, everyone's been telling me, actually, even the staff's been saying to do something like that. You know, we've never been, our administration, I've never been boastful enough. And I think the only time that we've ever said, outside of the council, was when, I hate to bring up re-election, when I put up all those signs of completion. And those were put up, of course, not knowing that we didn't have any money, right? And so when, as a mayor, when I went out to go and fight for all those things, those were all completed because of what we've done outside of whatever the government gave us. Now, if we were to sit and just work with 43,000,
Yeah.
we're just gonna be sitting, not
You just
getting
have to
anything done.
grasp.
But we were able to, you know, last administration, we were able to get the learning center up with 11 computers in there. We're able to, I mean, with the computer lab, we were able to get the learning center. We've already signed the MOU, we're just waiting now for, turning doors from AmeriCorps to help us open it up. We're working with GCC to try and do the GE classes or, you know, any, so, you know, there's still conversations. We've already signed the one, I've already signed the agreement with Doris from AmeriCorps. So that way she can open up the tutoring program right after school, and we can open up the computer lab too as well. And so we're working with her and with Public Health to bring down services that, you know, our community needs. And so that, the roads, the playground, these are all different things that we work to, you know, to provide to our community. And, you know, thank you for that.
I have an idea that might help save money, but also help out Agate. I know that you guys are waiting for money to drop for the white goods and loose metals. Is that correct?
So the Mayor's Council of Guam through EPA has given a few $million. I don't have the amount, but every single one of us is given already by the federal government, through the Mayor's Council of Guam, is given our own share. And so right now, it's just waiting for its POs, and then, you know, the money's there. This is not part of the 43. This is actually a federal program that helps us to remove the items.
When the POs are cut, then your staff goes out and collects them. Is that correct? Collects them from residents, of course, but also do you like pick up in the jungle, that kind of thing?
Yes, we remove most of it.
Right. Okay,
Other
so
than of course what people are bringing out now. And so somebody, for example, put it out on a different channel about Boucher Road. You know, we went in there, we bush cut and we didn't blow. I said, oh my gosh, you're worried about the bush cutting. What about all the illegal dumping that's there on the side?
Yeah.
We removed that almost every single quarter. And every single quarter, we put it out and it's nice and clear and then it's out again. That's the reason why some agate is
What do
growing.
we do with the car ownership?
And does the government ever look at the VIN and?
So right now, we're already looking on the mayor's council and we're trying to approach the senator to write a stiffer penalty, right, for those vehicles that are left on the side of the road in the municipalities, if they can actually be fined, and put the ownership back onto the back of the registered owner. And so I think the biggest fight is that, you know, what if somebody sold their car? Well, you know, you as the owner should have
Should have sold it
made
properly.
sure that, you know, the transfer documents are.
So real quick, an idea could be that most residents, or I don't know about most. Do most of us here pay for GSWA services? Trash pickup. So we all know then that we get bulk waste pickup. How many, so then we know that they'll pick up twice a year, up to 5 items per year, or I'm sorry, per pickup.
Yes.
How many of us use all 5 every single time we call them down? I don't.
I don't.
Doreen does, and I would venture to say others don't. Like for instance, last time I had them pick up, they picked up 3, which left 2 available spots. What I propose is that we ask the Agate residents, if you are going, we're already paying for these services. If you are going to have solid waste come and pick up, and you have extra spots that you're not going to use, offer it to the mayor's office, who will then turn around and what all you gotta do is provide the manpower to bring 2 washers over to their curb and drop it for them. It's at no cost to really anybody, but it speeds up the ability to remove them without waiting for a PO to, it can be a constant all year long. And the way I envision it is, all the residents who will sign up for it, I have 2 futons to get rid of, and I know I'm not gonna use any more, then I just call the mayor's office, hey, my name's on that list as a volunteer, I have 3 spots, they're picking up on February 28th, can you use it, mayor? And then you guys coordinate, we got 3 washers we can get rid of, thank you, we'll drop it off and then you just drop it off the night before, so that it's not an ugly sight for the resident, that kind of thing, and it's free.
We can do that. Is that something that we can probably put in the newsletter?
Put it out in the chats. It's Hagat helping Hagat, right? Like it's remembering that we're all kind of in this together. It's not just your staff that has to figure this out, right? And if we're wasting these spots, and that's the key, because solid waste will not roll those over. You got 5, and if you only use 1, it's not like you saved 4 and you
Yeah,
can use it
you
later.
don't
You lost
have
the
next
4.
year,
It's
right.
use it or lose it. So you might as well use it, So
It's a great idea.
Just question on vehicles, the abandoned vehicles, whatever. Now, if a property owner has so many vehicles in your property, and you guys are gonna go around the village to pick up abandoned vehicles, whatever, can they do that, bring it out to the road?
Oh, actually, I encourage them to do that, because you know what, later on, when we don't have money, that's when they bring it out. So we go around and we look and we say, hey, we noticed that car hasn't moved in how long? We're doing the program now, we have so many, you like to remove it. Most of the time, they'll say, yeah. Then you hit the ones like, no, that was my grandpa's car from when he was here and it was given to my dad and there's no tires on it, there's no hood, no doors, but they wanna say it because it's sentimental. No, I think you should move it, right? So, but we do hit those, but we do offer it too at the same time, right? So we go around and we do our assessments, weekly assessments, and we look and see what's out there in the village, how can we remove it, and what's the idea, right? So the chances are, is when we don't have the money, is when these guys are gonna put it out. The ones that we have a problem with is the ones that go out there and get the cars and just bring it into the village and then leave it, because then they're parting it out. And, I've got into it a few times with them, and it's not nice, but I have, this is not, that's not what the intent is for, right? And so they bring it in and, they try and sell it off as parts, and we've gone into it so many times, and it's just a few of them that do that. But, for the ones that we already know that will have it, and then it's the ones that go out there that try and make that little dollar, right, or the dollar, and they're like, oh, I'll clean your house. Where are you cleaning it? Because then you bring it here and then they leave it on the side of the road. And then it now becomes our responsibility, right? Because then they left it and nobody sees it and they just leave it. But we see it all the time. The Shon Chamorro Road is one of them. We go in there, we clean it up because of emergency access. We're constantly cleaning it up. And now their new thing now is that they set it on fire. They burn it. So, now we have no choice but to remove it. So, we're trying to be creative and they're being very creative. But, we try our best to remove it. The moment we see it and we have the funding, we're already on it. And like I said, every single year we move it. We remove over 100. And actually our allocation is only 50 for our municipality. But the trick is that if you remove it fast enough, then the council, if there's still money while it's there, then they'll give you. So that's the reason why I do that. I'll move the 50 real quick and then go back and say, hey, you can have cars, and then we'll get the additional 50. So we move on. So that we're not just sitting there. And at the council level too, if there's money that's given, like the federal government gives us money, right? Like this program for EPA, if we sit long enough and we're not moving on it, chances are they'll take it. Or other municipalities will take it, because then we're not using it. We never give them a chance to take it. Not when we don't have it. And so, yeah, we offer those type of things.
I do have one thing. So this is to address the issue of vandalism, graffiti. the other thing. I mentioned it to you, the two ladies, earlier this year, and you mentioned that you're talking to the senators, on legislature. If you could, there's an idea, much the same way we have resource officers for school, that we can have resource officers for community. Basically, a policeman that's tied to community, is like a beat cop, so that they can learn who the good people are in the village and who they sort of, hey, you need to come on and talk to them often, and see kids in the streets and say, hey, go home because you're not with parents and you know where you live, talk to your parents and call them if they can see you in the street. Something along those lines, because then the laws that are already in the books, they can try to enforce because they're invested in the community. And if they need to say, hey, the law is weak, then we can take that input and go back to the center, hey, can we strengthen this because the policeman on the beat says, hey, I can't really do too much because the law says it was too flexible, it was too weak to do anything with it.
So this would be great to bring up during our NWP meeting. So was already contacted by Sergeant Baltimore, who really wants Hagat to really get engaged and have our own neighborhood watch program. I'm hoping every time we've had this before, we've only seen just a handful, right? Every single time
Yes.
we've had it. And so, it takes all of us in order for us to make this happen. And so the entire community to make it happen. I think we need to get over our community as a whole, in general, I think needs to get over well, I don't want to tell because then, what if they know I told? Well,
Right.
I think somebody said in the community chat earlier, that if you keep it to a small amount and you keep it to where it's simple enough where everything is reported, and it goes direct, and there's just not a lot of loose, just people in there just to browse around and see what's being said, and they're not really doing anything. Those are the people we need to weed off of the chat. But the ones that are truly looking out for the best interests of the community and and what it is that needs to be reported, and how to report it, and where to report it, these are the type of individuals that we need on there, right? So that way, nobody should feel that it's, that they're gonna be endangered if they say something on the neighborhood watch chat.
I think I spoke on the graffiti stuff, on the community chat, and I saw my last name on it, on the painting. And I not retaliate, but I answered back, I wonder how the parents would feel with the kids going around doing this kind of stuff. Then the sibling come on the chat and say, that's my brother.
Yeah.
Everybody like,
But within that regard though, it brings light and it brings it up front. And so
right,
the thing about society we're learning today is instead of looking at the village and protecting the village, we're starting to be more defensive and we're not caring about what's good for the community, we're caring about what's being put out there.
right,
And, before, if Uncle John told me I'm not supposed to touch that tree and he caught me touching that tree, it was okay for him to punish me
right.
because I embarrassed the family and I embarrassed the house I went to. Today, when that happens, your child does wrong, unfortunately, the parent is not at that guard anymore to say, hey, why are you at Uncle John's house anyways?
Right.
Now it's who are you to tell my child? So if we can come back to where the family is the strong unit, then we'll start seeing some development there instead of, worrying about who did what. It's just like at the school. When I put that out there for the sake of parents, if you identify this in your child's house, which I did 16 years ago at a bus stop, my kids painted. When we did that, the mother saw the exact writing and Copla, the kid, in front of me, made me apologize, make them apologize and apologize to, Mayor Carroll, because it was during that time. We were, adopting bus stops. That's what we need to get back to. Instead of saying, and who are you to say about my kid? That parent called us up and made the child not only apologize, they went and cleaned it up. That's where we need to go back.
So also what I'm looking at doing, bringing back, we spoke about it before, but then we hit COVID. And I'm gonna put it back to the council to see how we can do something at least every quarter, whether it's the movies in the park or movies in the gym.
Oh,
Or the dances, right? We used to have the block dances, and this is just to encourage them to do something
Give them
better or look
positive
forward
vibe.
to it. I mean, we already do the regular Halloween extravaganza and those things from our office, but if we have something more for the youth, maybe we host it, like for this time, we host it in the municipality, in the village, at the basketball court in the bottom, and host it as a free event. Our office already has all the machines, and we've done this because, we're used to taking care of our kids, right? So we already have our own snow cone, cotton candy, popcorn machine. We've already purchased those, so we don't have this, we're only buying the ingredients for it. But we do it here in this part of the village, and then we move over to like Pagachao area, and we hit the Pagachao area, and it just shows that, we're doing different things, and, we call out the community. And so, it shows maybe we can get a different type of reaction from them. But this is what I'm hopeful that after the Mango Festival, once we calm down, that we're able to put out, from our office, something additional.
So just let me circle back to the community resource officer idea that I put out there and explain it a little bit more. What we don't see in the road today or in village today is a lot of police presence. I mean,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and if we do, we don't recognize who they are because they're probably taking this long route where they're here, they're in Thematic, they're in Ron, because they're doing the southern loop. But when you have a resource officer whose only gate is the village, then people get to recognize them, they'll be friendly with them, they'll be able to approach them. And they'll be a strong influence not to do anything wrong, because they'll be, through that symbol of, hey, there's someone here that's taking care of the village, they know who that person is. Doesn't have to be, it could be the retirees coming out.
We did, our last one that we had, I know exactly what you're talking about, we had Officer Marquez, who was assigned to the southern village, but, he had to break it up. And so, as GPD got short, we didn't see Mr. Officer Marquez anymore, now he's back onto the field. So, I think it's a great idea, we should bring it up to GPD, right, when they come down, yeah.
Because then that becomes your best friend, because,
And
I'm
they get
picturing,
to know
you're the
the kids.
mayor, we have now a sheriff in town. So you can talk, and you can say, hey, I've got problems in this area, let's go see it together. Sort of spread the word and say, we want to have a good neighbor. And part of that, say, but if you got good neighbors here, everyone else in our village. Just, be good neighbors.
We do have dinner that's provided for everyone, so if there's no other questions that anyone has, we'll call the meeting to adjourn at 8:03. It's the longest meeting we've had, but I do welcome and thank you guys for everything that, for coming in. We had a great first meeting, and I look forward to our next meetings, coming up. This is definitely not gonna be our last one, but, we will, as everything comes down. So